560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. And your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Cloudy, breezy, showers and storms throughout the day. High 73. Currently 54 at O'Hare. Next news at 7. Breaking news as it happens. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, roasted fresh daily in Batavia, Illinois.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy and Governor Pritzker, King JB of House Pritzker had some tough talk for businesses and municipalities and counties and county sheriffs who defy the Pritzker shelter-in-place order yesterday at his briefing.
Here's what I want to say to those leaders. You weren't elected to do what's easy. You were elected to do what's right. To the small minority of businesses that choose to ignore the medical doctors and the data and to ignore your legal obligations to the residents of your communities, there will be consequences.
And some of the consequences, Dan, federal state funding pulled and more.
What other enforcement mechanisms are you considering, and have you ruled out sending in state police?
Well, not just federal funds that we're talking about. As I just said, the businesses that ignore the executive orders, that ignore the law, will be held accountable by our Department of Professional Regulation and will be held accountable by any licensing body, Liquor Commission, Liquor Control Commission, and others.
And then he went on to say, but have you no shame? You city leaders, you board members.
192 Illinoisans lost their lives to this virus in the past 24 hours. 192. How is that not real to you? More people will get sick, get admitted to the hospital, and die if we don't stay the course and follow the guidance the experts have provided.
The Madison County Board down in Metro East passed a resolution. 4 phases. Very similar to what Orland Park did up here in southwest Cook County. Came up with 4 phases for a phased-in reopening of Madison County. Recommendations, a recognition they're not legally binding, they're guidelines. Phase 1 allows non-essential travel to resume, advising against social gatherings of 10 or more people. Retail businesses open up with 25% occupancy. Restaurants, same thing, 25% occupancy. That's now. Phase 2 begins May 28th to June 12th, 2 weeks. Increase social gatherings to 50, allow retail business, restaurants, churches to open further, increase occupancy. Phase 3, June 13th, June 27th, another 2 weeks. Open up churches entirely, occupancy increases, up the social gathering limitations to 150, and then June 27th, total reopening. Those are the guidelines. Well, I guess
with the restaurants reopening, there's also gyms and salons.
I guess the question is this mean that Madison County board members, all 28 of them, or at least 26 of the 28 who voted for these guidelines,
Murderers.
do they not? Is it not real to them? Is it not real to them, the people that are getting sick and dying?
I mean, he's stopping short of calling them murderers.
Well,
really.
Let's put that to Ray Wesley. He is a county board member, Madison County, Illinois. Ray, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity to tell the real side of the story.
Well, tell us and respond to the tough talk and the shaming you got from the governor.
Well, unfortunately, the governor doesn't come down to downstate Illinois and take a look at what we're doing and what we've got, and he wants to stay up there in his golden palace and try and dictate what we do when he doesn't have any idea what we're doing to fight this pandemic and what we're doing to safely and responsibly reopen our businesses.
So what is plan? Are you in phase 1 right now? You've opened up restaurants, gyms, and salons?
That is correct. We're in phase 1. That will go through May 27th. And if we find that cases haven't really spiked, or that if we find the data to allow us to go into phase 2, we will. And if you'll notice, I'm not sure if you've got a copy of our plan in front of you, but we've got a caveat after every phase that says if after 14 days following the phase guidelines, the Madison County Health Department will assessment of the COVID-19 cases presenting for hospitalization remains sufficiently below the hospital's ability to treat the cases, the following practices shall be in place in addition to the above state openings. Now, at the end of that document, we do say that we will continue to monitor, and if necessary, we will either stop where we're at until things improve, or we will go back a step. So we've really got a plan in there that addresses all the things that the governor says he's addressing on a long-term basis.
Well, here again, you're not opening anything up. You're providing guidelines, and businesses and other institutions can choose to open up or not. These are the guidelines that make sense to you, and that I assume you crafted in consultation with business and civic leaders to make everybody comfortable about going back into a restaurant or any other establishment.
That is correct. As the county board down here is a little different than most of the county boards throughout the state. We double as the Board of Health. So all 29 of us are not only county board members, but we're the County Board of Health. So we actually put a committee together, a bipartisan committee, to try and work on this. We had complete guidance on this through our local state's attorney's office, and he worked us through the legalities of this. And he impressed upon us that we do not have any reopening authority. We have only authority to close down a business or quarantine an individual that we determine to be a public health risk. And that's the authority we've had from day one, regardless of the pandemic. And that's the way we've operated. If we see if we have ever seen a problem in the community, then we follow up with an investigation, and then our enforcement authorities allow us 14 days. Allows us 48 hours to notify that individual as to why he's being shut down, and then we have to put that case in court and present clear and convincing evidence that that individual or that business is a public health risk. So the governor is absolutely wrong when he thinks that we're trying to open up businesses. These business owners have rights, and we're honoring those rights. We look at our plan as being a three-point plan, if you will, where we're trying to balance public health with the local economy and constitutional rights at the same time.
And what is your caseload down there? How many deaths have you had, and have they come from nursing homes, or is there a cluster somewhere?
Yes, we have. As of yesterday, we had 456 confirmed deaths. Now, keep in mind, that's out of a population in our county of 265,000 people, roughly.
456 cases, not deaths.
Correct, 456 cases.
Right.
We've had 35 deaths, unfortunately, here, and that's heart-wrenching that we've lost 35 of our citizens. But if you look at the confirmed cases, the positives, that's a little over 1% of our population. And we've had 35 deaths, and the majority of those have been at one particular nursing home, and then many of the rest of them have been at a couple of other nursing homes. So that's where we're seeing the evidence point to. That's what we need to make sure we look at and give them help in their situation.
Now, so give us a handle on what the community position is from all quarters, from clergy, from business owners, from nonprofits. Give us a sort of a overview of where your county is, where the people you're hearing from in Madison County, the 250,000 people, are with respect to the resolution and just with respect to how the governor has handled the response to the outbreak.
Well, certainly while we were working on this resolution and crafting it, we were very, very cognizant of what the public was telling us. And I, for one, can tell you that the hundreds of emails that I received since last Friday and the dozens and dozens of phone calls that I was able to take, it is overwhelming that these people want to go back to work, and they are safe, responsible citizens, and they can do what's necessary to help in this pandemic. Now, one of our board members decided to conduct a very informal poll out in a social media page, and he simply asked the residents that he reached, do you think we should open the county? And overwhelmingly, I believe it was somewhere around 65% of the people said they're ready to open up. They want to get back to work.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what do you say to Governor Pritzker, who says, if you do this, which you guys already started to do, people will die?
Well, I think that's very irresponsible of the governor to make accusations like that, because he doesn't know how we're handling it down here. And I challenge him to come down here and take a look at what we're doing to see that we're safe, that we're responsible, and that we have citizens down here that are just as concerned about this pandemic as he is.
Yeah, he was asked that yesterday because also the mayor of Frankfort wanted him to come and tour little mom and pop shops, and he said that he couldn't because he's going to want to shake people's hands and hug them because he's used to doing that, and he can't do that right now.
I'm sure,
Ray.
Ray.
A crazy answer.
Ray,
okay, that's an answer.
Ray, you could probably resist hugging the governor if he came down to visit, couldn't you?
I would love for him to come to visit and stay socially responsible.
There you go. Very good. Very
Ray,
good
I
answer.
love you.
Ray Wesley, Madison County Board Member. Ray, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you having me on.
Take care.
Thanks. We'll keep you guys in our prayers. Good luck. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
The Lou Dobbs Financial Report is brought to you by Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Visit signaturebank.bank for your commercial banking needs.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Companies that are reopening now need to find paying customers. States planning budget cuts after pandemic eases, and meat shortages are said to be unlikely. Those stories are next. You've all probably heard of asbestos and know that it's dangerous. And you may also know exposure to asbestos is the only known cause of mesothelioma, a deadly cancer. People who were exposed to asbestos decades ago are being diagnosed to this day with mesothelioma. That's because it can take as many as 30 or even 50 years to develop. But did you also know there's money to pay victims of asbestos exposure from years ago? An estimated $30 billion available to help compensate victims and their families. If you or a member of your family have been diagnosed with mesothelioma, you may be able to receive some of this money without ever going to court or filing a lawsuit. Get a free legal review today. Call Sokolov Law at 800-910-1950. That's 800-910-1950. Some Americans are beginning to show reluctance to spending money at stores and other businesses which are reopening. Makers of staples like Oreos and Kellogg's cereals delaying the rollout of new product lines, instead trying to build on bonds their brands already have with many shoppers, as some consumers cut back due to